been a while. It's been a motherfucking while. It's actually been almost 2 months since I put out a damn podcast, you fucks. I mean, it's pretty much my fault, I guess, but you know, just trying to put the pieces together. Shit takes time, especially when you want to have some good shit to put out. I know. Everybody's like, what the fuck, man? I want to hear this shit like once a week. And trust me, I'd love to put it out once a week. But I feel like I kind of have to move my location. Really, like, the only reason that this band that came into this podcast and did it with us is because they were on tour and they were going through the area. But I mean, my shit's like mobile, so I could take it wherever the fuck I want to, but you know, I got a day job. I can't just up and leave when I want to, even though this is what I want to fucking do. And this podcast is basically the vision that I had for this one by one thing. This band came in by the name of Hero Jr. And they fucking rocked, first of all. First and foremost. You guys kicked fucking ass. I can't explain it anymore, but well, I could. But this was the vision that I had. I wanted to be able to do this with Bob Bowling. He's helped me start this whole thing. Actually, today was a year since I recorded my first podcast with this Mic Tech Procast microphone, and it's fucking crazy. But anyway, I wanted to be able to have Bob have his studio set up so that a band could just come in, bring whatever equipment they needed to bring in. But you know, he's got the whole studio down there anyway, and just record raw and then talk for a few minutes and then let me put it together. We did a video for Graveyard of Mirrors, and turned out fucking cool. I took video of all 4 songs that they played, and I'm gonna put that out very soon. Graveyard's out though now. And I just feel like if I didn't have a fucking day job, I could get this shit put together better and faster and more efficiently. But you gotta do what you gotta do for the time being. But these guys are fucking awesome. They've been on tour for 4 years straight, pretty much. They rock. They fucking rock. Uncle Joey met them in Indianapolis when he did a show there. And he's just been shouting them out and praising them ever since. So Ken got a hold of me, the lead guitar player, and asked to do the podcast. And I did a couple designs for him too. It's fucking sweet. Yeah, it worked. It fucking worked. And I cannot give enough credit to Bob Bowling. You made this shit sound like an actual EP. This is a live recording. These guys did one take of each song. It's kind of crazy because a lot of bands that come into the studio will take a year or two to fucking, well, not a year or two, but at least a year for some of them to record a couple songs. And I know times are tough, situations are different, but it's just incredible when a band has it together this much that didn't have to worry. Like, I mean, I was a little worried because this is the first time we did this. We had them come in, got some Dunkin' Donuts. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. They just got done playing a show in Asbury Park the night before, stayed in a hotel near Philly, drove to us, played, talked, and then left to go out to New Brighton, Pennsylvania. That same night, Saturday night that just passed. They're putting it in, and it shows. But yeah, back to Bob. He fucking made this shit incredible. In-fucking-credible. And the band just provided him with the tools to fucking do so. Like, it's just amazing. I'm so happy. I just wish I could do this every day. Just this. I mean, I like the fact that I got a job again, guys. It's been a few months, but I got a fucking desk job again since last August. Basically, a month after I started this podcast, I got laid off. And I've been doing the unemployment thing. I worked at Target for a few months, just looking for a position in a law firm to do legal assistant stuff. And it's not what I want to do. I can do it, but I don't want to do it forever. Life. Anyway, this band fucking rocked. I want to thank Uncle Joey for introducing him to us, for getting us hooked up. I want to thank Bob Bowling for putting this whole thing together and fucking working his ass off from last Saturday afternoon. He mixed down the podcast itself, the interview part. He mixed down 4 separate songs, and sent us each, like, we all had, like, they were going back and forth, like they wanted like little things fixed on here and there or whatever. And I just got the last mixes like last night right before I was about to post the Graveyard of Mirrors video. He sends me another mix of it, and I'm like, damn it, I gotta go back and put that mix over top of that video. But it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I mean, just so much work went into this, and it fucking shows because you'll fucking hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Hero Jr. So we got Hero Jr. Thank you for coming. And thank you for jamming the fuck out. You guys rocked the fucking house.
Thanks,
literally,
man. We had a great time.
Literally rocked the house, man. Dave, we got over here, bass player. Devin on drums. Ken on lead guitar. Yep. And Evan on vocals and guitar. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Bob Bowling Audio.
Thanks for having us.
So cool, man. How was your show last night?
Awesome.
Asbury Park.
Yep, hot, awesome.
Hot. Yeah. You guys were on the beach, you said? Like fucking...
Yeah, the venue was right on the boardwalk.
Man, it was awesome.
I went to Florida a couple years ago and saw like every other bar had a band playing on the beach, just facing it. That would be the shit to just do that every night, get drunk.
8,000 degrees, though.
Yeah, fuck that.
It emptied out pretty quick when we were done. The whole boardwalk kind of empties off
Yeah.
quick.
It was a crazy red moon last night.
Oh, yeah?
A sunset or something.
Blood moon?
Yeah.
Coming up. Yeah.
Some shit's going down. Oh, well, you know what it was? The Republican National Convention was this week. So. Surprised I wanted a red star. That's just fucking crazy, man. We got a fucking Oompa Loompa that's about to fucking almost be president.
In real life.
In real life. It's just crazy. Like, I don't want to get too much into politics, but I do, because fuck it.
Let's go.
But, like...
The lizards are coming.
The lizards are coming, dude. Actually, they've been here for a while.
Yes. There you go.
Their planet's on the way back.
Now you're talking Devin's land.
Heroes, like, almost here. As soon as we're counting down for it.
Oh, shit.
I don't know, man. I was all in it for Bernie until fucking that didn't happen. and then he endorsed Hillary, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel.
I know it. It's a weird time.
Dude, as long as it's not an orange dude with a fucking wig on, I'm fine.
I don't like his speech. Like, there was nothing in it. He was just saying all this like crazy shit to get people scared, and then saying we're gonna do this, but not saying how the fuck we're gonna do this. I don't know.
See, we're from Indiana, so we're just waiting for the world to find out about Mike Pence.
Man, when they started digging,
what's up with that
when
guy?
they started digging into
What
him,
is up with that guy?
Nobody knows.
No, it's pretty interesting.
That's where you're
situation.
from?
Yeah, we're from Indianapolis, Indiana.
No, but he's from where you guys are from too.
Yeah, he's from Indiana. So
governor.
So give us
He's
the
the
dirt.
governor.
Okay, so he's
Well,
got some fucking dirt.
everyone's got their placard out on their lawn that says Pence must go home Pence.
Must go.
yeah,
And that's in his hometown?
Yeah, and it's all over like decoration
State.
for Christmas.
you can just Google anything on the Religious Freedom Act and Mike Pence and find out what's going on. It's a sad state of affairs.
I know. Like, these dudes don't like women, man. It's crazy.
Lion Ted wouldn't endorse him. Trump. Well, Trump gave him that name, right? Like, he's giving everybody names so that... Because it's like fucking wrestling. Did you see it?
I
Like,
know. Crooked Hillary,
Yeah.
Lion Ted.
Lion Ted, Crooked Hillary. That's all the crowd would shout was, put her in jail or some shit the whole time, dude. Lock her up. Yeah.
That's crazy mom. Wasn't it scary a little bit?
It was. And there's a lot of women in there. Like, I wasn't sure why
Can't
they were
believe
there.
They're getting paid to be there.
Props.
They got paid to be there, and they got provided all those little glitter fucking phone cases that they had. Because every woman that they showed on the TV was sitting there filming fucking Trump taking
Orange phone
speech.
case.
Yeah.
Wasn't too colorful in there.
Yeah, there was a lot of
I mean,
lots of white folks. I'll have to agree with you on that one. We'll see how the DNC is. They're usually a little, you know,
Rainbow connection.
somewhat. That was funny too. Oh shit, maybe I should shut this off. I just got your text, Ken. We're here. His entrance from outside regresses.
We're done.
We're already done. That's old news now. So how the hell did, first of all, where did Hero Jr. the name come from?
All right. So
First question.
it was a really difficult situation trying to come up with the band name, as anybody who's in a band knows.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
And so we had gone through a couple that were just not good at all. We even had friends and fans be like, yo, no.
Really? Usually it's like band members that are like, yeah, dude, I'm not really too keen on this name here.
But so it just kind of fizzled a couple that we started with, and we needed a good one. And so the story behind it is basically back in the early 80s, there was a company called Heath Zenith, and they basically, it's kind of like old school IKEA's idea of like, you can put this together for, you know, buy it for a little cheaper, and they would send you what was called like a Heath kit. So if you could buy a TV, you could buy all different kinds of stuff that they would send to your house, and you could put it together yourself. And so that was like kind of, it was like a big deal in the 80s, man. So I know, you look at
Together
it
on
like,
TV?
yeah. I know. So, anyways, one of the products that Heath Zenith came up with was this personalized robot, and like it was like this high, you know, 2 feet high with wheels on it, and it was like a remote control robot.
Yeah, R2D2 looking thing.
Yeah, it
Oh,
looks like
shit.
R2D. You can Google Hero Junior Robot and check it out. But it's basically real primitive. But back then it had like the light sensor. You could set it by your door and it would bark like a dog if like it sensed the door
yeah,
was
yeah.
opening. It had like an alarm clock. Just really silly stuff. But they gave it out on game shows like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. And my dad was the guy who would travel to the game shows and work it from behind the curtain when they'd be like, and Jenny, you could win the Hero Junior Robot. And so, like, I grew up with the robot around the house, and the robot's name is Hero Junior. That's how I kind of learned how to walk with scooting behind this thing, because my dad always had him around. And so we decided to just end up going with Hero Junior on the name. That's where it kind of originated from. So
That is fucking crazy.
yeah, and it's like the funniest thing, because like we've had a really difficult time trying to get like all the website stuff like herojunior.com, because the robot exists.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that's why.
So we had to do like herojuniormusic.com
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But yeah, I really would like to get one and just like bring it out on stage at some point if we could get one on eBay, because there's a couple that still exist, but That's kind of the backstory of where Hero
That's
Junior
cool
came
shit.
from.
I was trying to think of like what the hell it could have meant, like baby Superman. you know,
Yeah,
like-
but yeah. I mean, it's got a lot of
Missed it
different
by
stuff.
that much.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. And how did it come together? Because I was talking to Ken on the phone, and he was telling me a little bit of the story about how you guys like met up. It was like Evan. You met up with the bass player, right, Dave? At
Yeah.
like an open mic or some shit, and then
It started
All these
way
things started
back.
Yeah.
open mic all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
Should.
Devin, before he met, or Evan, sorry, before he met any of us, he was in a band with his brother, and he was working with a producer and engineer called Paul Mahern, and they had a little relationship going. And at the same time, without any of us knowing, Devin also had a relationship with Paul, and so did I. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
living in London. Were you in Michigan at the time?
I
Or
was
were
in
you-
Bloomington.
He was in Bloomington,
Indiana.
and Devin was in Indy. And we all worked with Paul in different ways, in different capacities. And I came over once. Paul was already working with Evan on something, and he told me, when you're in town the next time, you should meet Evan. And we met, and he was working on some songs, and we collaborated together.
I was like 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Paul Mahern, he's in Tape Op this month.
That's
isn't he?
right.
Yep.
I just read that. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Our buddy.
And then,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, we all had our relationships, and we worked on some songs together, no rehearsals, and Devin was the drummer. And that was about 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then we all kind of went our ways and did our own stuff, just to make the story a little bit shorter, more concise. And then about 8 years later, after Evan and Dave, they had been playing together. They met at an open mic, and Evan's brother Matthew, it all evolved into another band. And then they made a couple records together, and they did some work, and they toured a lot. They've always been like really focused on touring.
That wasn't Hero Junior though.
It was Hero
It was.
Junior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at that time.
totally.
We kind of like, not to
Evolved.
interrupt.
No.
We like basically Hero Junior like kind of evolved out of me, Dave, and my brother as the original idea for the band, and we had like a keyboard player for a couple months, and then we played like for about 2.5, 3 years. We toured in that outfit as like a 3-piece, the three of us, and then when we came to make the new full-length album that we wanted to make, this is now in 2012.
Yeah.
So basically, like, I had worked with Ken and Devin, like, when I was 19 or 20. We recorded some songs. They went their own way for, like, 10 years, and I did my own thing. But then I came to meet Dave at an open mic, and we started playing together in Indianapolis, right? Dave and Devin and Ken are just doing
Their own
other
thing
stuff.
still.
They're not in the picture.
Across the world.
Across the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
So we come as the 3-piece to a place in the band where we're ready to make a full-length album. Now, I'll let you go ahead.
Thank you. And so,
And he's in London.
and I'm in London,
Ken.
and we have maintained contact. Like, I would say 2 or 3 times a year. We just said hi, and he was like, "Come on, you got to come out." And it's like, man, I can't go, and I've got my studio here, and I can't do this. And then Paul said, "Let's do something together again." And this is about, I don't know, 8 years later, 9 years later, in 2012. And so I was in my studio in London. He was in Bloomington with Paul, and these guys were all together as a band. And so we worked on ideas and writing over Skype. And it really felt like we were in the living room together. I mean, it was a little bit weird at first, but
had headphones on or just
no,
like,
just, I mean,
speakers?
just talking and writing and playing
Oh, okay.
ideas and stuff.
Just
And,
sitting there like FaceTiming each other and shit. That'd be cool though.
but there was really like a vibe. And to keep it short, we recorded a record together, long distance, sending music back and forth, talking about different ideas and working.
All the while, I was begging Ken to come over from London and please be in my band.
Yeah.
And it's like I know what it takes to be in a band, and I just thought, man, being in a band means you got to give everything up. You got to really die for it. There's no pissing around, and it's like you either get the
Yeah.
fuck in or you get the fuck out.
Yeah. In an original band? Fuck yeah, man.
And so so this is the part where it was like there was definitely a helping hand from somewhere else involved. So we did this record and everything, and it was cool, and we just said, all right. And he goes, why don't you come to the CD release party? And it's like I said, I'm not sure. And within 1 week, and this is really no shit, I broke up with my girlfriend. The studio that I had been renting in London, they were selling it, and me and the people that we were trying to get to buy it or take it over, for zoning reasons, it wouldn't work. And then the partner that I had in a little label that I was running had a little bit of financial trouble, and I didn't really know about it. And then the first of the year came around, or whenever the next cycle for paying was, and there just wasn't any money there. So he called me a couple days later and said, come on, man. And I said, fuck, I'm coming. So I came over. Dave picked me up at the airport. We drove down to Bloomington to pick up a borrowed guitar amp right from the airport. We went back. We rehearsed in the living room that night, and we pretty much played the whole set without any problems.
And it was the first time we had been in a room together.
Yeah,
playing those
and then we
songs.
did the show, the CD release show together. And what was really funny about that is we got done, and like I only knew 9 songs, and they wanted an encore, and I just said, dudes, go up and play it. And halfway through the encore song, I looked at the person standing next to me and said, fuck, that was the first song that we wrote together. And I didn't even...
Like from back.
Yeah.
Way back
yeah.
then.
Oh wow.
And then I just stayed, and that was it. I left my shit in London, and it was like a couple months, and then I went back and I put everything in storage and came back, and we've been on tour for 4 years.
And
Pretty
so
much,
then,
right?
so then,
Great.
like myself, Ken, Dave, and my brother Matthew continued to play for a couple more years together, touring 150, 200 shows a year. But then my brother just recently got engaged, and so basically he moved out to Vegas. And what was so awesome is that, come full circle, Devin, when we're looking for a drummer, happens to be in Indianapolis and available, which was the first drummer that we ever worked with. And so here we are
Shit
again.
just
And
falls
he's been
into
on the road with us
place.
for, how long have you been on tour with us now?
About 4 months or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. January.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really, there couldn't have been a better fit. It was a really
Putting the
smooth
pieces
transition, and like, and my
Yeah.
brother was amazing as well. Like, he put in a ton of time and work, and so it was a great, it was a good experience because it was a mutual thing where it wasn't like something ugly where you hear about with some bands, and it's like,
Get out the band,
yeah,
sucker.
yeah.
We ain't fucking playing.
And we're brothers,
talking
so
no
it
more,
was good,
motherfucker.
you know. So it's worked out really awesome, and it's a crazy story.
It's
but
cool as shit. Now, did you break up with your girlfriend just because you wanted to go to the band thing?
Yep.
Oh, no.
Use that.
Shit was going on for a while.
The
You were
one
down there
awesome
anyway.
thing with this band is everything always seems to happen naturally. Like, even when we get through some shitty times, I mean, you know, we're 4 people, we're living on the road, and we love each other as we are. And so, you know, there's always a curve of ups and downs and shit. And it always, when there's a down, something good just comes along at the right time, and we all learn from what the
Yeah.
down was, and we just bring it forward, and you know, it all goes
moving
into the
on.
music at the end, which is really super cool.
Hell yeah, man. And you guys like book, like you two are basically like the manager, booking agents.
Yep,
for the
I
band?
do.
Like,
I do
you
the
don't have
booking,
nobody
and
else,
Ken
so-
does like a lot of the PR and press and all the logistics stuff, and so it's all in house. I mean, everybody does something. Dave drives the van everywhere.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and Devin,
The driver.
he's the looks. I mean, obviously.
I told you that.
Hi
So,
there.
but yeah, everybody. It's just 100%. It's like a collaboration,
new
and everybody's
magnet.
25%, and everybody brings it in their own way, and it's
Hell
just
yeah,
it's
man.
super. It's been an awesome experience.
Now you guys just fucking rocked the basement here. Dave like lost his headphones on the tracks.
Threw him down.
I didn't know if he wanted them back on, but I was like, yeah, put them back on your head.
Yeah, I gotta jump in here and say, I'm sitting here when you guys first started. I'm like taking some pictures, taking some videos, saying, "Oh, we got to get this on Facebook. We got to get this on Instagram." And I was like, watching you guys, like, what the hell am I doing? Wasting. I'm missing the live show right now. Like,
know.
usually in the studio, it's piece by piece or a couple guys at a time, then add some layers. This was the real shit right here, right now. I was like, I just gotta watch this band play. You know, it was awesome.
Thanks,
I
man.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for that, for real.
Thinking the same thing as when I'm recording. I'm like, I wish I could just watch this shit. And I'm sitting there, like, I guess because I still had my Wi-Fi on, so I see his Instagram post come down. And I was like,
And then for all you guys, when you hear this song, the songs they recorded here at the end of this podcast, we didn't hit stop once. We didn't fix anything.
man.
We didn't
Straight
overdub
through.
anything, and we're not going to copy and paste anything. This is all
Then-
real on the
and
spot.
you guys
it's a 4 minute song. It took 4 minutes.
you haven't even played. I asked you guys
to play Bottom of the End when you got here because that was one of my favorites that I
And you saw the look of
heard.
dread on our faces.
Yeah, everybody looked just went, oh shit. I haven't played that one because this is like riding a bike. Like
Yeah.
It
playing
was
music,
awesome,
you know?
man. What happened it really is cool because that's one song we took out of the set. We've been playing it for 4 years. And when Devin joined, we just had to pick a group of songs to work with.
Yeah.
And that just
That one
wasn't
didn't
on the
make it.
list.
I don't know, like why?
It's on the list now.
Yeah, right.
Why? Like
Yeah,
why
of course,
was
like,
it?
damn, what
Why
were
was
we
it
thinking?
taken off the list?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I feel like the bottom of the end, and it is cold as hell. You can scratch out a photograph that is empty and worn as well. Oh, time won't you wake me? Time won't you take me? Time won't you break this spell? Time won't you wake me? Time don't you play me? It's time that I need to get well. After the tide away, I'm broken instead of afraid. No, I won't back down. It feels like a hurricane. I counted the lives I said. One is all I found. I feel the beginning, she's a friend. Held out her hand and brought me back from the dead. Oh, a string of lights through a sheer at night. A telegraph on a 112 flight. Take me out of here. Take me out of here. Hey, time don't you ring me? Time don't you dig me? Time won't you break this spell? Time don't you ring me? Time don't you play me? It's time that I need to be real. After the tide away, I'm broken instead of fear. No, I won't back down. It feels like a hurricane. I counted the lives I said. One is all I found. Building up these raft I am. Sink or swim, I still can't stand. This one like state I'm in spite of confusion. Firefight on roses air. Now this song I'll take command. All these things make me a mess. Design show confusion. Expect not what you've been told. Diamonds come from pressure on the
Did you guys think that it was like too much for the
Well,
crowds? Like they didn't want to fucking
They
chill
just
for that
kind
long?
of come and go, man.
Yeah.
Like this band is based so much on feel and
Yeah.
the way the songs go, the roadmap. I mean, all that stuff is pretty
Plus all of them
pretty
together.
spur of the moment. How we're feeling as a group. You know, we talk about stuff in the van, in the hotel, like all over the place.
Right
It
before
just-
we start.
yeah.
What about the up? 1, 2, we're going.
Devin's on a
Before.
need to know basis. And he didn't need to know until we got here. But what's great is that, like what Dave was saying and Ken was saying, it's like we did take it out of the set, but you know, having you be like, I'd love to hear it, and it forcing us to play and keep us on our toes. That's what rock and roll is about. So it's really awesome to be able to have, you know, the ability to just come and like, okay, we can muscle memory. We were talking about that.
And you guys did it and didn't fuck up.
Level playing field. Everybody's excited. Like, uh-oh.
That's my favorite.
Sometimes
When Devin
it's
says
great.
level playing field, it's like, it's great, man.
The crowd don't know. We don't know. It's like, here we go.
Everybody's looking at it with big eyes like, what's going to happen next?
And just to speak for like myself, I mean, I love all the songs. It's not like, you know, that I have necessarily favorites or anything. So I don't think there's a lot of strategy in the
picking
set
them,
list
yeah.
necessarily. You know, they just kind of come and go with the way we're feeling that day.
How many songs do you guys have like all together, you think?
45 to 60. I mean, we do. So, like, it's really interesting with us because, like, at the level that we're at, where we're at, you know, kind of in the food chain, we have so many different sets prepared for so many different occasions.
Yeah,
so, like,
crowds,
we
yeah.
have a 90-minute, a 60-minute, a 45-minute. You know, you go to New York, you get 30 minutes, you know, and in the Midwest, we do shows sometimes from 10 to 2, you know? So,
Yeah.
it's like we're ready for anything. And so that's a lot of the reason, too, is just, like, some of the songs come in and out because we're playing a different, like, length of set here or there and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
you want to like squeeze in 2 songs instead of one long one. or some
yeah,
shit.
yeah. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things where it really depends. So,
Yeah. It's fucking cool, man.
Half an hour ain't enough, man.
Yeah.
That's
Not
really.
Some places you only get like 20 minutes.
yeah.
If you
It's
play
like-
on TV, what do you get?
You get like 5.
Yeah.
Barely. I wonder if they do sound checks and shit like that.
Oh, they do.
They
You
better.
said it, you
Put
go.
the drummer behind the glass bubble.
Ooh. No thanks.
That's so rude.
That's how the casinos are.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Walking around Atlantic City in the casino, you see like a band playing on the fucking floor just out in the open.
Oh man, we,
Glass thing.
we had a casino experience once where the guy had a decibel meter.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
were just not having a rock and roll room.
And
Decibel
the one venue we play, I have a decimal meter. The manager has a decimal
Cops
meter.
get called.
The
It's
owner has a decimal
ridiculous.
meter.
Yeah, but
The
this was a
cops have
Hard
one.
Rock
We all meet
Cafe,
in the
man.
street. It's an outdoor venue, so like the law is like you can't be over 65 decibels at the property line. So we've got this whole thing figured out. It's 85 at the bar equals 65 at the street, loses 20 decibels over like 100 yards, and they're out there all night. The cops pull up, and everyone goes and scrambles, gets their meters. Look at mine. Look at mine.
Everyone's comparing meters like.
That's hilarious.
"Oh, you're gonna turn it down now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous. Inside the fucking Hard Rock.
At the Hard Rock Cafe, and it was we couldn't even point our amps facing out. We had to point sideways so it didn't hit the people.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't like that shit.
At the Hard Rock.
At the Hard Rock.
The not so hard rock.
You gotta
The
soften
not
it
so
up.
hard rock.
Exactly.
Put a pillow on
This
it.
easy listening for the AARP crowd.
That was funny.
Popping
Yeah.
chubbies on the soft line. No. He's actually going to AC tonight. Alice in Chains.
Oh,
Cool.
cool.
Down there.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
Dean Del Rey is opening for him.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
man.
awesome,
Damn,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, we listen to Dean Del Rey a lot. On
Yeah,
podcasts,
he's
so.
cool shit, man.
Yeah.
I do a couple. You guys met Joey in Indianapolis when he was that May that you guys went? And I think you were in there, like the beginning of May. Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
Did you get to hang out with him at all, or was it just like the meet and greet,
Just
like
a
picture thing?
Just a meet and greet. But we've been listening to him, and I mean, we listen to
feel like he's-
podcasts nonstop instead of music when we're in the van traveling.
podcasts.
So he's, his voice has been there for 4 years.
Yeah.
So when we got to see the show, and it was a great show, and he's awesome.
Was that the first time you saw him
Yeah.
live?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I try to find like live clips of him and shit. He doesn't let a lot of live like of his stand up.
Yeah.
Unless it's like on.
Right.
And he's the
on
real
social
deal, man.
shows.
Yeah.
It's like what we've been hearing for 4 years. It's really great to just meet someone for a second, and
And
it's
know.
like there's no gap between what's going on as how he is as an artist and a person,
Yeah.
and then when you're just there, it's really cool.
Yeah, man.
It's just he's brutal honesty and just a boatload of heart, and
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
same type of stuff that we try to bring to music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Ken was saying on the phone. Like, podcasts are like fucking more rock and roll than rock and roll is right now for a lot of bands, man. It's
Definitely,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, and comedy is too.
Yeah,
comedy
comedy
is
is-
way more rock and roll than rock and roll right now.
I always heard that shit about how like comedians want to be fucking rock stars, or rock stars want to be comedians. I mean, look at Dean Del Rey. He went from
Yeah.
I think it's a
Rocking
little
out to
hard,
Johnny Depp.
harder, little
Johnny
harder
Depp,
to be
or
funny
the
in
Hollywood
front of a lot of
vampire.
people.
The Hollywood vamp.
I don't know about that, but I mean, he can play guitar. I've seen him play guitar, but
Sure
it's
is
just like
purdy.
looks like Jack Sparrow playing guitar. Yeah. The way he dressed up, he looked like half pirate. You know? What's wrong with you, dude? But yeah, just the whole podcast thing's been incredible, dude. This is actually last week was a year since I started this one.
That's awesome.
I started it like a year after, or year or two after I started listening to Joey, and you feel like you know them, like him and Lee now, because like Lee contacted me to do some more designs and shit too. So now I talk to Lee on the phone, and it's so surreal. Like,
Just
The
everybody,
voice,
man.
hey Mike, how you doing?
but he's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Love
No, he was just really polite, and he's like more polite than he is on the podcast with Joey, and he's real polite on air with him.
He's
so nice.
he's super polite. We've had
Yeah.
a couple emails. I don't know, man. Podcasts are just cool because you get to learn new things, and it's really fun listening to really intelligent people
Yeah.
freely speak their minds with other people, and there's no censorship, and that's what it's all about, man.
That's what got me.
The no censorship?
Yeah, man, it's
man.
awesome.
On the radio,
Like
it's
pirate radio, but you can hear a whole shitload more nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, you'd be surprised. Sorry, Dave. Still, you'd be surprised when you talk to other people, and they like a friend of mine.
know about 'em?
A friend of mine showed me his podcast list, and like I hadn't, like everyone's got their own things, and I hadn't
Yeah.
heard of any of those. And I go, "You don't know Mark Maron?" And he goes, "Nope." It's like, dude.
What box? Where's your box that you're living in? I'll show you mine at the end. It like goes on forever. I can't even listen to all of them. It's fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
luckily, I just got a job back in a fucking law office in a cubicle, just because that. I mean, yeah, I say luckily.
Get that bread.
Yeah, got to. But like now that I got back in there, I can sit and listen to the podcast. Like I'm catching
Yeah.
back up on shit.
yeah.
'Cause I was like, just sitting at home, listening. It's harder to sit at home when you're not really doing anything and listening to
Right.
them. Like it's weird.
You be like,
you guys are on the road. You're driving down the road and shit, and that's fun to just listen to it, fucking smoke or something, and fucking
Right.
bam. But like,
Smoke a little number.
smoke.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
I actually, he called me before. I was like, yeah, man, I got a fucking number roll for us when I get there. And he's like, oh, it's cool, man. I'm trying to lay off on the weekends. Well, just edibles on the weekends.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, okay, well, I guess I'll smoke this by myself.
Who do you listen to and like a lot on your list? Who's at the top of your list?
Actually, I started. This is the weird thing. A couple years ago, I was after like I think it was around the time of the Boston Marathon bombing. I was listening to Alex Jones a lot. You ever heard that guy?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that guy.
especially Joe Rogan's
Yeah, from
impression
him.
of it.
Oh yeah. And the period, like when him and Joey were on that, his fuck, oh, it was ridiculous. But I was listening to him so much that my girlfriend was like, "You gotta stop listening to him. he's making you think that the world's ending, and then I feel like you're just gonna start killing people. So you just stop listening to
We
him."
got the psyops, the black helicopters. Take it easy.
the dead mutants in the fucking canal.
Bunch of great people. Shape
He actually, it's just so weird. He actually followed my podcast on Instagram like last week.
Oh, really?
Alex Jones. I don't know why. He followed me and my personal page on Instagram, so I don't know what's up.
Knocking on
Alex
the
Jones
door.
is looking out for
I
me.
know if you disappear, we'll know where to look.
Yes. But I started listening to him, and then through him, I don't know why, somehow I just didn't. I knew of Mark Maron and shit. I listen to him once in a while too. Sometimes I just want to listen to other shit because Mark's is like
Nah. I don't know.
Billy Burr, man.
Bill Burr is fucking awesome. Yeah,
Silly,
dude.
man.
By him, or no, that's his by himself, right?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Monday morning. one.
Sometimes he has his girly on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny, man.
But
He's
like through
silly,
Joe, that's where I started listening to church. But then I went back and listened to Beauty and the Beast with him and Felicia Michaels. Did you
Oh,
ever listen to
cool.
that one?
No, I haven't checked
It's still
that
on
out.
iTunes, so you can go back and listen to that. That's like a whole like 100 or so episodes.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, cool.
But it's all Joey telling stories. But the way that she does that podcast is not like the church where just recorded and that's it. She like talks to him a little bit. He tells a story, and then they fucking like she kind of like fades out at the end of the story with music, and then they come back in and start. It's weird.
That's cool.
Just weird how she did it, but it's cool to hear like way more stories than you heard before, and then you kind of get to hear them again on the church and shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. But him, Duncan Trussell, you ever listen to that guy?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
listen to
I
the
love that
Family
guy.
Hour quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like everybody basically spawned off of Rogan. Like people that he's on, like the Fighter and the Kid. I listened to Brian Callen was by
Yeah.
himself. and
We love Rogan.
Dean
And-
Del Rey. After I heard him on Rogan, man.
It's funny, like as our tours have evolved, you know, because we've been doing this for a bunch of years now. You know, Joe Rogan gives a lot of credit to like Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
You know, going on there and just having it be such an open format and the hang, like the conversations don't have an agenda, they meander where they go. And, you know, when we first started touring, first thing I put in the van was satellite radio. You know, I grew up in New York. I was a huge O&A fan growing up. So that we started like kind of as the evolution of from talk radio to satellite to podcasting is like we've kind of been in the tour van through all of that. It's been super cool. We just feel real tied to it. So.
Did you listen to Howard Stern like back in the day at all?
Um,
I mean, I know he's still on, but
He
like,
couldn't say fuck on the radio.
on TV. Yeah, because he was on like regular.
I haven't listened to
terrestrial
Howard
radio
Stern for a while.
yeah.
Like I remember 9/11 happened. I was in the Stern, and Opie and Anthony were on. Maybe after that.
They were
maybe-
afternoon drive.
Yeah, they were like 3 to 5 or some shit.
Yeah.
And
Followed by Ron and Fez.
yeah, but they got third off the air. Remember they had people having sex in the fucking shirts and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was so upset when that happened, dude, because that was like the only talk radio I ever like listened to was
Yeah.
Opie and Anthony
Mm-hmm.
in the afternoon. Besides Howard Stern in the morning, but I mean, I don't know. Howard Stern he was cool. Then I watched his movie. Then I listened to him more. And then I was just like, whatever.
I started listening to sports talk radio.
Sports.
I did for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, what's his
That's what
name?
they
Jim
had-
Rome or whatever.
Philly, they changed 94 YSP was like the main 94.1. It's the main station. Now it's 93.3. Well, 93.3 FMR. They've been around for a long time, but like 94 was the main station. Then now it's a fucking sports radio station. Has been for like 4 years, and we only got like 1, 2 rock stations in the city.
Yeah.
It's kind of lame.
It's like that
cool.
everywhere, man.
ESPN.
all
The
corporate.
mothership.
The mother-
Just gobble that shit up.
Ah, man. Now, because you played bottom at the end for me, what's that song about, really? Who did you guys write? Was that an older song? That's why I kind of
Yeah, that tune has been around for a long time in the band. It's been around since we started as a 3-piece. We've been playing that tune. I mean, it's really just about reflecting on yourself and wanting to, like, you know, look at some situations that you've been in and kind of progress into a better situation from where you're at, and just self-reflection a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, I like to leave things open for anybody to interpret it the way that they want to, because there's a lot of times where somebody will come up after the show and say something about a song and it touched them in a way that I wasn't even thinking about when I wrote
And you
it.
don't want to
know,
tell
so-
them, like,
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah.
actually not what it meant.
Yeah.
Sorry to bust
I don't want to
your bubble.
ruin that. So, I mean, I just really, when we write, it's one of the best ways for us to be able to kind of just vent and therapeutically, like, speak what we want to speak in our own way, because, you know, the world is really fucked up right now. And so it's just a great tool to be able to, even rehearsing 2 days a week. I mean, it's more than kind of therapeutic. It's super therapeutic to be able to just,
Meditation.
you know, say what you need to say. And I just think that music is one of the things that it just universally communicates across the board. And you can feel it if you don't understand the lyrics, you know, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
still feel the emotion behind it. And I think it's just really important for all of us. Like, even playing this morning here, you know, it's like, it's more than just being on a show for the four of us. It's like every time we have an opportunity to play together, it's something special. And so we try to make it a great, you know, moment, because that's what we're about, is catching the moment and the realness and, you know, mistakes and all. It's what it's all about. So, you know, for
Happy
us.
accidents.
Yeah. Happy accidents.
We saw the Stones.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
keep on going.
Keep on trucking,
Keep on trucking.
But yeah, a lot of tunes, like, we're just, you know, it's about expressing ourselves and just how we're feeling about the current state of affairs. And, you know, we're not a super political band, you know,
Yeah,
like
but,
in that
you know.
way, but we also get to say what we want to say in our own way. And it's been a great way to just get our views and what we think across. And
Yeah. You know, another podcast I've been listening to a lot lately, Tim Ferriss. Joe Rogan mentioned him a lot. I don't know if you guys listen to him
I'll
yet,
check it
but
out.
check him out.
I've heard
He's
a couple
an
of Tim
intelligent
Ferriss.
dude. He's got
Yeah.
one of his questions I'm going to ask, just because I've listened to like 3 podcasts and he asked this to everybody. If you guys had a billboard anywhere in the world, what would it say?
free downloads.
Free download.
All right, that's the. All right, I hear that. I would say we are.
We are,
Yeah,
because we are one.
we just are.
Yeah.
Ken's such a hippie.
I know it.
You'd say lizards.
No.
Now, what would you say, Devin? If you're trying to tell the fucking world something, like, pay attention to this, motherfuckers. Would it be the lizards are here?
I mean, I can't say what's in my. I can't say what's in my head right now.
Why not?
What just popped in my head? I can't say.
Come on.
I mean, I was just watching Straight Outta Compton, so
Oh, well, fucking nice.
I mean,
I don't care. I watched
it
that
don't
in the
matter.
theater with my
It don't
brother.
matter. Just don't bite it. I don't know.
Just don't bite it.
It don't matter. Just don't
Just the
bite
tip.
it.
Someone's mom said that.
Dave?
I can just hear my dad in my head.
Get your head out of your ass!
That on the.
Get your.
Really? That's a good one. That might be the best one.
It's very effective when you hear it coming from him.
I saw Bob checking levels on that one.
He hit negative 1.7. Right.
Negative.
That's where we want to be. Zero's the thing.
Positive. Now, you also played a couple other songs for me, and I just want to like see what the hell they're about, like the mixed race Indiana marriage is how it's called. That's the
Yes.
first one.
That is the
We're
1st
gonna play it in order.
Yeah,
Where'd that
man.
come
I
from?
mean, there's some pretty
Where'd that name
hilarious
come
stuff.
from?
Okay.
Is that in the song?
All right, if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna tell you the story. So
Okay.
we go to the same Speedway gas station every single time we leave town in Indianapolis, and we get gas and we get fuel.
Okay.
From the sky they fell down, stuck right into the ground. Between the speed and the way that the wild turned down. If you promise not to tell about the MRI in its head, as the blood pressure rises and the top line prices are coming right back to you. It's the best show in town. Watch 'em land the money on down. Between the speed and the fight where you come and now. It's trouble. Here we go again. The lining up beyond all the sticky plastics on between the trinkets and the lighters. It's true. It's trouble. Up in it till it's paid. Like a wanting past the sign, 'cause it's one of them that come between the liquor and the lies, and it's true. There's a whole lot of trouble on you. wanted to say about the horse and the miscarriage, yeah. The mixed race Indiana marriage is trouble. Here we go again. The lining up beyond all the sticky passes between the trinkets and the ladders, it's true. It's trouble. A pity to these veins. Like a wanted past the sound, cause there's one of them that come between the liquor and the life, and it's true. Oh, there's a whole lot of trouble on me. Oh, the king fell down. The queen picked up his crown. A perfect purple velvet on the house. The barefoot child playing tic-tac-toe on the towel. The Dave the rave out of his way, so he played his ex's tail. Yo! Trouble, here we go again. The lining up beyond all the sticky passes between the trinkets and the ladders is true. It's trouble, a pity to these veins. Like a wanted past the sound, cause there's one of them that come between the liquor and the life, and it's true. Oh, there's a whole lot of trouble, 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 whole lot of trouble. Oh, yo! And this fucking gas station is a shit show and a half. I mean,
Like straight up.
it's ridiculous.
You got to pump your own gas there, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here you don't.
Lazy
No.
eyes, limps.
People smoking cigarettes while you're pumping
It's
your gas.
50% chance that there's going to be coffee made or not made. I mean, it's just a
They
total
serve
shit show.
ISIS coffee there.
What's that? There ain't no coffee. I mean, and the people watching is just prime time. So it's never a dull moment at the Speedway. So there's just this one trip that we're getting ready to take, and a very fine and respectable biracial couple pulls up on a scooter, and I don't know how intoxicated they were or weren't, but argument ensued into the gas pump next to us. And it was just like escalating and escalating. And this couple was just making the biggest scene. And I turned around to Ken and I said, well, that's a mixed race Indiana marriage right there if I ever saw one. And that's literally how the song title was born. It was all from this situation happening right next to us at this gas pump and all over gassing up this little spree. I mean, it was like Armageddon was happening next to us, man. And it was just like,
Fucking boat in the goddamn boat.
unleaded? What?
Just a lot of pajama bottoms and flip flops at 2 p.m.
Like they could
Got
catch
a lot
from
of people
Walmart.
Nary
Not in a
Brazier
big rush
ever.
to get anywhere.
Nary
Yeah,
a
the king
Brazier.
fell down. The queen picked up his crown. Perfect purple velvets all around. Crown royal. Yeah, so I mean, it's just like some stuff comes from different places, and Graveyard of Mirrors was, that whole thing was stemmed from. We took a van trip to Chicago, and we parked at this place in Chicago overnight. And I've been looking for a name, but it's dead and gone. See for yourself before it drags you way down. That song's a heavy day. It bleeds into your skin. Yeah, yeah. You got a lot on your mind. You can't hear the truth. Hit a graveyard of me's and they're all on you. You got a chip on the shoulder and a lot that you yours. Hit a graveyard of mirrors. They're not lying to you. Oh yeah. When the streetlights fail and the lines won't lead you home, I'm chewing on a silent sermon, waiting on a special person that I might know. With a straight lace smiling and I feel your head. Yeah, I'm calling out in the dark, waiting for the shit that started. Don't stand a chance. Yeah, yeah. You got a lot on your mind and you can't hear the truth. Really graveyard of me's and they're all on you. You got a chip on the shoulder and a line that you yours. The graveyard of mirrors, they're not lying to you. Oh yeah! Come up for air, it's different this time. Something in the follow and it's showing you a sign. Come up for air, it's different this time. Something in the follow and it's showing you a sign. Come up for air, it's different this time. Show me all your lies, cause I'm reading all your mind. About it down, it's all about the minute that you saw yourself in your head. Yeah, yeah. You got a lot on your mind, you can't hear the truth. In a graveyard of me's and they're all on you. You got a chip on the shoulder and a line that you yours. In a graveyard of mirrors, they're not lying to you. Oh yeah!
we got up the next morning, and it was in the middle of winter, and the plows are plowing, and they take out side view mirrors all the time. And so we got out to the van, and our side view mirror was just gone. And we go like 3 to 4 months later, we come back and we park in the same spot. And after all the snow had melted, there was like literally hundreds of side view mirrors. That
like a
like
mirror
all the
ball
snow
on the
melted.
ground.
So we were like, it's a graveyard of mirrors. This is crazy. And we're right parked next to like a really huge municipal cemetery, and just the whole flow of things just kind of like in the moment. And we just listened to Neil Young talk on a podcast, and it was kind of cool the way he talked about his method, where it's kind of like, you can be doing whatever you're doing in the middle of the day, and when an idea kind of strikes you at that moment, we kind of just stop what we're doing and we just kind of think about it for a second and develop a little thing. And whether we put a note in our phone or we hit the audio recorder and say, like, let's write something about this later. And then when we sit down in a couple months, we'll go back and revisit that idea. And so that's where a lot of the tunes come from, is just like, it can be.
Is that how you write, like, mostly now on tour, basically? Like,
it happens. It happens in
there?
every way. I mean, we sit around in the living room a lot and do it. Sometimes we sketch stuff out and come into the band. I mean, it happens differently every time, and we don't have any rules. Like, I think when you put rules on anything, this is just me personally speaking, I think you eliminate the chances of magic things happening, and we're all about trying to keep everything as pure as when you get that little spark, and it's like, whoa, that was cool. Like, well, how can you keep it from there? That's how we make records. You know, we go in, we play like we did here. We don't put reverb on and shit. We just do it. And if we're really happy and we get this little magic where everyone's looking at each other and just getting happy, that's what we want people to hear, because that's what we do. And so, you know, there's a lot of different ways to do things, and there is no right and wrong. And we just have our little way that works for the four of us. And it's just keeping it pure and just doing it.
Pure.
In Anger Room, that was the last living, like the last living interview of Jimi Hendrix. He mentions in that interview, in one sentence, that everybody should have their own anger room. That, like, when they're super upset or frustrated, that they can go into and just do what they need to do to, like, get that out. And I just thought that always stuck with us. And that's kind of like the 45 minutes that we're up on stage is our chance to, like, you know, do that. So yeah, right, for sure.
We are standing in the street with open arms and in between all the good, the bad prepared. Ooh, some fists on heated nowhere. You're falling down on me. No swallow, no sympathy. Well, I'll never become the life, the love, the things I never ever wanna be scared of. In an anger room, my thought begins like a chosen child, and it's even sweet. I sweat his tongue, his tangled arms under braided trees. Now somehow strong, I'm moving out, I'm shedding skin. The ink's on dry, but it's sad. You're wailing in the yard. I'm blurry-eyed and same old fog. While the movie shoots itself in the mind where the crime does the time for someone else. You're falling down on me. No swallow, no sympathy. Well, I'll never become the life, the love, the things I never ever wanna
shit.
Or when Dave's tuning and we start the song.
Yeah, that becomes the literally anger.
God damn it! I'm doing Dave this loud tuning.
Yeah, those strings are
first song I
pulling.
seen him bend a low E string about all the way down to the G string.
Sounds remind me of Chris Farley when he's playing a woman. Lay off me, I'm a star.
I have many anger rooms.
He's got the keys. So where are you guys headed next today after you leave here?
We're going
Going
to
up to
New
New
Brighton,
Brighton.
Pennsylvania, a really
Pittsburgh,
fantastic little juke joint called Woolly Bullies. And we're doing the whole night. This is an example kind of like what I was just talking about. We get to do so many different sets on tour. Like, so tonight, so we just did a 30 in New York City, a 45 last night in Jersey, and now we're going to open for ourselves unplugged, and we're going to do some fun like covers and originals for 45 to an hour, and then we're going to set up the electric set and do an hour and a half and
fucking
just blow it out. So it's cool. It gives us a chance to make more money on the road by doing that as well, and so it's just one of those things where being versatile and able to walk into any coffee house, studio, whatever it is, and pull it off is like what we want to do.
How do you guys
So-
do the acoustic thing? Just do you guys playing acoustics, or you guys playing
Oh, no,
bass and a little something?
It's
Like
pretty
you guys
much,
are still up on stage when you're going. When they're
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
pretty
Cafe
much
kit,
exactly the
bass.
same, except they have acoustic
Nirvana
guitars in their
Unplugged,
hands.
basically, if you can,
okay.
I
like
use
that.
floor time and one cymbal or something.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Because that's usually like with the podcast how I have it with the one mic and shit. When I go meet somebody, I'll have them play like an acoustic song for me or
Yeah.
a couple of them. So like maybe next time.
Yeah,
we'll
we can
an
do
acoustic
acoustics.
set or
Yeah, and
something,
what's
too.
cool is like all the songs are a totally different animal when they're unplugged,
Fuck
and we
yeah.
do different parts and different bridges when we
Oh,
play.
okay. Like-
you know, like we have different arrangements for stuff, and
Nice.
it's really fun because it gives people a chance to hear a different, you know.
No,
And we
Next
never
time you
rehearse
guys-
our unplugged shit, so it's always gonna be different.
Yeah.
Unplugged's cool, but next time you come back, you're going electric again. You're gonna miss this opportunity, and you bring a brand new song with you that no one's ever heard.
Yeah, definitely.
And Bob
Put
won't
that,
have to
release a
record
live
anything.
single.
Yeah.
Live in the basement. There you go.
Yeah, we'll get your wife to get Vanessa to fucking record it. That way we can like watch while you guys are playing instead of let her do some work. Well, thanks, guys. Do you want to wait? First of all, I'm making a flyer for you guys. I'll have it for you soon. But you're playing a 3-day festival coming up that you wanted to promote.
We
a
are
little
from the
bit.
4th to the 7th. We're playing at Mila Music in Appleton, Wisconsin. It's an amazing, really well run. It's still not commercial enough to be corporate, so
Yeah.
you can actually
It's actually
go.
good.
You can go into a really beautiful little town in Wisconsin. Every club on the drag is open. It's free, and there's bands everywhere. I think there's over 150 bands this year,
Wow.
and you can just really walk down the street and see all kinds of music all the time.
Yeah,
and
it's like
for free.
11 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Holy
Like,
all the shows
every
are
day.
packed every day.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That sounds
And
awesome.
then we're going out west.
everywhere, man.
We're going out west. We're doing a bunch of shows.
Yeah, you're playing the Viper Room. I saw, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're
August
doing-
Fucking
31st,
incredible.
Viper Room.
Is that your show or are you open for somebody?
Well, we're doing a showcase, and we haven't actually found out who they're building the show around. I mean, we've got our time,
Yeah.
and we're doing our thing. I think the way they run things there is that everyone's really responsible for taking care of their part, and then it all comes together at the end. But yeah, we haven't. That's going to be our first LA show. I mean, we've toured about
Oh, really?
600 dates in 4+ years, and that's going to be our first real solid West Coast run. So we're
Alright.
totally looking forward
And the
to
room,
it.
everybody knows, whether you've been to California or not, everyone's heard of the Viper Room. It's like,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's
Shit,
we're
get Dean and
really
Uncle Joey
excited to
out to
do
see
these
you guys
shows
there.
on the West
Fuck.
Coast. Yeah.
Give the dates, man. You know them.
Yeah,
You
man.
booked
You got
them.
some
Yeah,
dates
well,
rolling
we're
up.
doing so we're in New Brighton tonight, and then we're in Milwaukee, and then we're going to be in Milwaukee for 2 days next weekend for a festival, and then just an unplugged show, and then after that, Mile Music, like he said, and then we're going to be basically we've got a couple shows in Iowa, in Decorah, Iowa, and Cresco, Iowa, and then we head out west, and we're going to do Kennewick, Washington. Then we're doing Seattle, Washington. We're going to be doing Tacoma, Washington, Eugene, Oregon, San Jose, Oakland, Viper Room in LA, and then Vegas. And then we drive to Denver, and we do one show in Denver, and then we head back home to Indianapolis. So
Have fun in Denver.
thanks, man. we will.
And Seattle. Shit, Uncle Joey can't go there, though. He's got warrants.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we're excited, and
Dude, that sounds like so
I
much
just
fun.
want to say too that we've done a lot of these, and this was a really awesome experience. You guys
Oh,
have your
thanks,
shit
man.
way together, and the
Thank you.
mix and everything sounded great. And
Thanks.
we
Thanks
wouldn't
for
just
coming.
say that.
Like,
So
this
yeah,
is really like not unexpected, but like you guys took the time out of your tour to fucking stop here. So that's
it's
really
important what you're
appreciated, man.
doing.
Yeah,
It's like
totally
awesome, man, and we love podcasts. So it's like we want to be mutually helping anybody that's
Yeah,
involved in doing good things, because that's what it's all about. So
We do it because we love you, cocksuckers.
yeah, exactly.
So visit you guys online. You guys got several different ones here. The main one is HeroJuniorMusic.com.
Correct.
That's where you can go and get everything.
Yep,
Free
free
downloads.
downloads, videos.
Free downloads.
We doubled
See?
something.
Billboard, yeah.
Is that a callback? I think that's
Yeah.
called.
Sometime next week you have a live in studio video you can put up on there.
Yeah, that too. But that Twitter's Hero was that _Junior?
Hero_Junior.
And then Hero Junior on Instagram. Thank you
Definitely.
guys for coming, dude. This was
Yep,
fucking
this
Thank
is
you,
awesome.
man.
Thank you guys so much. Cool.
You know, Vladimir Putin said that he saw.
Back, you've been rolling.
Hold on, what?
Vladimir Putin said he saw Queen Elizabeth's shapeshift 3 times
He said he saw it.
in front of him. She said he thinks that she did it in front of him to let
Dude, I
him know
watched
not to
In
mess with him.
Colorado.
Oh,
we saw
really?
that.
Not the like
Don't
she's
fuck
not.
with the English.
The queen.
The queen herself.
The queen
Something's up
herself.
with her, man. She just she's getting old. She hasn't died yet.
No, she's just walking around getting her. She's like 1,000 years old.
You know what? I know you guys are on tour and shit, but like, do you get to watch Netflix ever?
Yes.